Hello, Josh, Sam, and anyone else who's watching. Welcome back to what I have decided to call a hearty slice of football pie. That being harter. Anyway, what you'll have noticed, if you're an eagle-eyed viewer, is that I'm almost a year on from where we were last time. This is because, disclaimer, I had a number of very big issues with my computer and then with the save in the intervening time between recording the previous video, which will have been uploaded, which actually, because of those similar things, will have been uploaded on basically the same day that I upload this one. The problem was computer had to be fixed. That was fixed. I transferred all the files over. That was fine. Then I couldn't record anything new for a while, but then I moved on a little bit. The game crashed. I couldn't recover the files. The files were corrupt, and I came back to had to then recover everything again, go back further forward again. So it's been a bit of a sort of on and off period of annoyance and frustration from my end. So apologies. It's kind of you've missed out an entire promotion campaign. Spoiler alert. So let's look at the history of what happened last season. It'll be interesting. No, we weren't in the first division. We were in the second division. We won it by miles. We won 23 of our games, drawing 5, losing 6. We actually, in the original version, because as I said, the file corrupted the first time round, in that season we actually won an extra point. We lost one less game and we drew one more game. A little bit annoying, but it doesn't really matter. We're by far the highest point scorers of this division for a very long time, so that's good. We can look at our fixtures from last season just sort of to go over and see sort of where we were supposed to record last time. So I think we were supposed to record. Was it even as far back as this point where we had played? I think it was. It was something like the Leipzig and Oberhausen games, I think, or it was around here anyway. We were supposed to come back for the last 2 games of the first half of the season. That would have been Frankfurt and Kaiserslautern. So you missed a 3-2 win and a 2-0 win. We then lost in the German Cup to First Division Duisburg. Those wacky zebras knocked us out. We had a bunch of mid-season games, including a 2-0 win over Schlaus-Groswar. Lol. And then we carried on into the second half of the season, where we only lost 2 games. A 1-1 draw with Rostock, who also went up, was a pretty good result. We walked through most of the rest of these. It was around here that I ended up losing. Oh no, it wasn't. It was back here. I had to do most of this again. Yeah. So anyway, we got all the way through here. Won on the final day. 3-2 win. Stepan Prosek scoring the absolute last-minute winner to send us up into the Bundesliga on as many points as was possible. It was nice. We did really well in terms of the squad last season. I can't even show you the squad last season, so I'm not even going to bother trying. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to look at the transfers, because there's been a lot of them. Right, so if we go to history and we drop back a year first, players that we brought in, you know all of these guys, but at Christmas time, I brought in a few new players. I brought in a young man called Christian Oberkopf, who's not young. He didn't score very many goals because he's not that good. As it turns out, he's too slow, I think, to really make too much of an impact. But anyway, he was good he came in on £110,000. I might try and sell him sooner rather than later. We also signed Pingo on a free for. This is how good he is. I signed him on a free. He made 2 appearances, and then we sold him for £2 million. I'm back into that kind of thing again. That's what I like. I also signed the famous between me and Sam, Hospice Chumo. He was on a lot of money. He came in for £900,000 and did very well. 13 goals in that second half of the season, 7 goals. So 13 appearances, 7 goals, 4 Man of the Match awards, and then we sold him on for £2 million to Freiburg, where he is struggling in the first division. So probably a good decision on my part. And then we also brought in a young left back, Aziz Jr. He came in for £275,000. Didn't do very well in his few appearances in the second division, but is doing okay as our main number 1 left back this season. So that was last year. The rest of the players that went out, I mean, you probably wouldn't even remember who they are anyway. So we'll move on to this season. So in terms of outs, there's been a lot. Like I said, Pingo out for $2 million. Our first choice left back from last season, Adayon Akunde, went out on a free transfer. The backup goalkeeper, Robert Vicker, out he went. Stefan Havik, second top scorer, I think, last season. But getting a bit old, he joined Lillestrøm for free. That's not a problem at all. I was happy with that. He scored 10 goals to get us promoted. I'm nicely happy. We got up. We don't need him anymore. Stepan Bilokapic. This was a player who did very well for us on the left. 32 appearances last season, 9 assists, 3 goals. Decent rating. He'd been at the club for a while. But as you can see, he's 31. Not good enough for the top division. Wasn't good enough last time we were... okay. So actually he was very good last time we were in that division. But he's not good enough anymore. He's too slow. So out the door. I don't know if he even made an appearance, but Simon Dedic for us. He didn't make an appearance under me. He left on a free. Karol Klimek didn't do as well as I was expecting him to, considering he's got okay stats and he was okay for them in the first division before we took over. He went out on a free to Dusseldorf in the second division, where he's having somewhat of a renaissance. Where were we? Klimek, Prochazka, again, another player who, I mean, he's useless, but he played quite a lot for us last season. 31 appearances, 1 goal, 4 assists. He's now on trial with FC Sion. These guys, Holger Volter was a player who I thought was going to be okay. We let him go on a free. I think he was signed on a pre-season contract, and I couldn't afford to pay him more money. The club is not in great or wasn't in great financial straits at the end of last season, mainly because we've been relegated, and the crowd differences in crowd sizes meant that it was not possible to renew the contracts of every single player that I wanted to keep. For example, I wouldn't have minded keeping Felix Güttler, but he joined Sandhausen on a free, which is annoying. But he did very well for us last season. He's a good player. Felix Güttler. Anyone else interesting? None of the rest of these players played at all. So other players that we lost. Onda Gunduj was a youth player who I thought we had decent chance of sort of developing into a good player. And again, because we weren't able to give him any money, he went off for a free to Wolfsburg. So I'm sure he'll end up being a bloody wonder kid or something ridiculous. As I mentioned, Chumo has gone already. I sold on Siddiq Uzturk, who I think I signed. I must have signed him, unless he was signed before I joined slightly. But he was useless. Sold him for £250,000, and he's continuing to be useless. I don't know how on earth Saarbrücken thought he was going to be good enough, but whatever. He's quick, but he's got nothing else. Top scorer from last season, Fatih Demir. He's fine in terms of his statistics, but he wouldn't re-sign a new deal. I didn't want to lose him for no money. So after 15 goals in the league, and 20 overall, we let him go to Hanover for 4.9 million, which is his minimum fee release clause, so I couldn't offer him out for more than that. But we got a good bit of money back from him. I didn't actually sign him that season. He'd already been signed by the club, so they wasted the money on him. I got more money back from him. That's not so bad. Anyway, that allowed us finally to invest in some players, which you'll see over on the other side. So I'll go through those in a moment. We also shipped Vladimir Ishmuzin out the door for £40,000 to 1860 Munich. He did the job that we wanted him to do in the second division, but he's not good enough for the top division. So out you go, young man. We also got rid of this guy who I had hoped I could turn into a right midfielder, but he just would not train. He was useless. He's just useless. He's gone. Another player who was at the club since before we came, Daniel Tunissen. He did fine for us, and we got £300,000 out of him. So that's not a bad thing at all, especially for someone who's 29. The goalkeeper that I signed, Kaloyan Boyanov. I bought him in for 50k. 1 year later, I sold him for £1 million to 1860 Munich, who seem destined to put themselves into administration by signing absolutely terrible players. But actually, Kaloyan Boyanov is not a terrible player. He's just not good enough for the Bundesliga. We've got better players in now, so I thought if we can get that much money for a 27-year-old goalkeeper who's not good enough, then fine. And so we did, and nice bit of wrangling from me there. Another player who I think I may have signed him. Yeah, I think I did, and then put him straight out on loan, and then sold him for £100,000. But that's not bad. Again, £100,000 over a year for a 31-year-old midfielder. I'll take it. The main disappointing one, although not that disappointing, but slightly disappointing, Daniel Tabana, the right back who I signed for free. I sold for 4.9 million as well, so we made nearly £10 million just off 2 players. to Lausanne in the Swiss Super League, I think that is, after he had one sensational season for us in the second division. Not a problem for me. He's probably going to go on and be like I don't think he's going to get sensation. Like if he was kind of more up here, I of course never would have sold him. But he's lacking a bit mentally and technically, defensive wise, he's missing things. I think his off the ball is poor, and he doesn't cross as well as I would have hoped. Although he did get some decent assists. But anyway, we made some nice money on him. Meant that we could invest that money better elsewhere. And then we got rid of Renato Di Somma, who had started off at Hertha and was useless. So I sold him to Sandhausen Zwei, apparently, for £40,000. So we made £15 million. We spent 2.6 million on a bunch of players. So if you will bear with me, I will go through them now. This guy I signed on a free from Colorado. Is it Colorado Rapids? Yeah, he's a Mexican youth player. I've signed him. He's gone down into the Berlin second team. Hopefully he will develop a bit. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. I'll probably get some money out of him when we sell him on. Again, another player who I was actually trying to sign him for the beginning. I'm not even sure why I signed him. I'm not even sure if I did. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't know why I would have signed this guy, but apparently I spent £70,000 on him. Anyway, he's already worth a little bit more. He can play for the seconds. It's fine. He's not on very much money. He's already an international for New Zealand, so well done him. But yeah, no, I'm not sure 100% why he's been signed, but again, we can probably make some money from him. Maybe he can develop a bit in the seconds. Who knows? Now into some and then one more player, sorry. This guy, Marin Jelic, he's actually quite good. I had signed him for a free last season. I'd agreed the deal with Hayuk last season, but he didn't arrive until this season because it was a sort of a free transfer at the end of his contract. So I'd agreed it, I think, in January, and we had to wait until now to get him. But he's there, 6'4", 1.7 million value. He should be good enough for the backup, and then we can possibly sell him on next year for a bit of money. Now into players that so now at this point I was in London on a little trip to the doctor and stuff, and I happened to bump into assistant manager and the other owner of this channel, Sam, who did a bit of scouting with me, and we found some sensational young players to completely overhaul the squad. So if you will bear with, I'll go through them now. Although being as it's Sam that mostly watches these videos, I mean, you know all these anyway. But we have Andrei Tsvetkov, who came in for free. He's a good player. He's not on any money a week because he's an absolute moron. He's young. We'll be able to sell him on probably this. We'll probably be able to upgrade him. He doesn't look like he'll be too hard to upgrade, but he'll also fund that upgrade, I think, himself, considering he came in for free and he's being paid basically nothing. So that's good. I'm a fan of his as well. He's playing okay so far. We'll go through how the first division has gone so far in a minute once I've gone through these players, but yeah, just bear with. New goalkeeper, Yanis El Amrani. Excellent player. Shamefully quite eccentric, but otherwise fine. Worth £2.2 million. Picked him up on a free off to Grafschap. He's doing very well so far. He held Bayern out for pretty much the entire game on his own in one game. He did still lose, but he's a very good goalkeeper. And in the backup goalkeeper, I signed Matthias Suligoy. Hopefully he will improve a little bit. He's only a backup, and I signed him for free again. So I'll probably sell him on and to get a second excellent goalkeeper this summer. But for now, the aim is just to do enough to stay up. So we'll see. Then Chris Drying, whose name is actually Dyring, but it was confusing, so I changed it to Drying. He's an excellent centre-back. We signed for free from FC Copenhagen. He's our starting centre-back who just got a red card in the last game, so well done him. But he is excellent. It's a little bit short, but otherwise he's a very, very good player. Happy. Václav Jura, sorry. He's a sort of defensive midfield player. Brought him in for, free from Palermo, 12,000. That's actually less than Ishmuzin was on last season, and he's better defensively in the areas that I want him to be in that defensive role. So he's good. He hasn't actually played in the league yet because we've been sort of trying to bed the team in, because a lot of new faces. If you keep chopping and changing, it's going to affect the form. But the form is shit at the moment, so we'll see. He'll get his chance soon anyway. So, and then on to the right back, our starting right back for this season, the Welshman James Davis, 36 caps, and he's 26 years old. Brought him from Dundee United for £120,000. I think that's a bit of a steal. I commented to Sam about his weird transfer history, going from Arsenal then to Bangor on a free. Bangor sold him to St Johnstone's for £250,000, and then they sold him to a team in the division above for less money. So someone in St Johnstone needs to look at themselves, but even worse than that, someone in Dundee needs to take a look at themselves, because I don't know how we got him for £100,000 less, considering the 2 good seasons he had. He's also done well for us so far. He can't cross very well, which is a shame, but defensively he's solid as a rock. Then we have Comment Dramé, another player similar to Ishmurzin, but he's on £10,000 less a week, and he is better defensively and physically and quick and speed-wise. He's also much younger. Came in for £140,000 from Auxerre. He's not done great so far, but then he is coming into that central defensive position, which basically we're struggling in that sort of area just because the teams in this level are very good, and we've also played most of the best teams already, so he's doing all right. I think his average rating will improve as we play some of the weaker teams. Now then, probably the star player, I think, Velociraptis. His name isn't actually Velociraptis, his name is Gregorios Chatsiraptis, but I called him Velociraptis because it sounds funny. He is exactly what I want. Tall, physical, good at defending, quick, and he's our main defensive midfielder. He's, like I just said about the other fellow who's not played well, or says he's not played well in these sort of games against the big teams. He has still played well against the big teams. He can be a little bit unfit, even though he's natural fitness, but he did get an injury a few weeks ago. But we signed him for £190,000. I think he'll probably be at the club for a couple of years at least. I like the look of him. He's a good player. We then brought in Stefan Wanzi. Stefan Wanzi. That's the one I wanted to do. Forgot to do that last time. Wanzi, did he come in for £160,000? He's only got 1 goal and 1 assist in 7 appearances. But he's much better. I don't know if you remember how good Fatih Demir was, but his graph was just tipping outside of this into this light green thing on both here and here. So he's clearly a lot better technically, although his return in terms of goals so far has not been borne out. It has not borne out those statistics. He did score 2 in the cup, but then we were playing amateur, but it's something like the 7th division team, so we absolutely smashed them, and he was a crucial part. I think he'll come good. They all just need to kind of gel a bit. We then brought in Patricio Cruz. He's a 30-year-old left winger. We needed some players basically at this point, and he's all right. He's fine. Bought him £65,000 from Oviedo. I think he's the backup of the 2 of them. He's much cheaper than the ones that I had last season, like Bila Kapic. And he's better than him, and I think he'll be fine as a backup. He's nothing special, but he won't be around too long. I expect he'll either go next season or the year after. But someone who probably won't is Ivica Salatovic, who has 20 on finishing, as Sam would not stop talking about. He's not the quickest man in the world, and he's also not very naturally fit, so he can't usually play 2 or 3 games in a row. But he's excellent. He's got 2 goals, both of them in the cup again. It was a sensational goal, one of them. He hasn't scored in the league yet, which is worrying, but then we're not exactly free scoring at the moment. Signed him for £120,000 off of Dunfermline, so we've savaged the Scottish leagues for their best players. But last season he got 19 league goals in 27 appearances. He has to step up a bit to match those levels, and I don't think he will match those levels, but he is a great player. And we got him so cheap, and he's now worth £325,000. I don't know how that's possible, but whatever. I also signed Dennis Keogh, who is basically he's quick, excellent at finishing. He scored a great goal in the league already this season. Poor in the air, but he is only 6'1", so what do you expect? Can't head the ball at 6'1", it's madness. Signed him off of St Pat's Athletic for £75,000. Last season he got 15 goals and 15 starts for them. That was in the Irish Premier League. This season he's doing okay for us in the Bundesliga. So it's quite a big step up. I expect quite a lot of these players are suffering from the fact that it's a step up. I'm expecting that after the, I'm expecting us to do better from now until the winter break. But I think after the winter break, when they've had enough time to properly settle down, a couple of these players will start to really sort of kick on. Speaking of kicking on, our new captain is Gustavo, the Brazilian, 26 years old, valued at 2.3 million. We signed him on a free off of FC Sion, so we swapped a terrible right winger for an excellent left winger. He's got all the things I like: speed, crossing, and he's been playing well so far. I mean, he's not been playing great, but then no one has. So, but yeah, I like him. He'll be around for a couple of years, and we'll hopefully sell him on for a bit of cash. Then we have Tonci Miletic, who's the backup left back. He got sent off, I think. Has he been sent off? Was it him? No, he wasn't sent off, but he gave away a penalty. So we're all struggling here, but we bought him from Randers for £120,000. He's good. He's good enough to be the backup. He's on quite a lot of money as a backup, but he's good enough. So shut up. Cristiano Molina comes in as well. 17 finishing, 17 composure, 15 heading, very quick. Can't jump, but he's great in the air. So yeah, he's a good player. He has another one come in and not really hit the ground running. He's got 6 appearances this season, not scored in any of them. Has an average rating of 6.57. I don't know quite why he's been so poor, but yeah, hopefully he'll come good as well. We also then have Giuseppe Schetta, who is a good right winger. He's our starting right winger. Signed him for £275,000 off of Saint-Étienne. He's actually done all right. He scored 2 goals for us in the league so far. Both of them winners, I think, and he's doing well despite the average ratings. Again, he can only do so much. And then a return for another one of my old Schlonsk players, Tancho Kotsev, who I signed for £1.3 million, which is probably too much. And he's been poor so far. But again, shut up, it's my game. So that's the team so far. That's what we're looking like. So the league, as it looks at the moment, the first division, we are currently sitting in 10th. 3 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses. We've only scored 5 goals this season, which is a concern. Although I think it will come once the team gets a bit more sort of au fait with each other. And the goal difference looks worse because we've hit a period of bad form. So the fixtures so far this season, we started off we were pretty free scoring in the pre-season, but again not as free scoring as I'd have liked to have been. We drew 1-1 with Nuremberg on the first day of the season. Keogh scoring his first. We then beat Metlak 6-0 in the first round of the cup. We then went on a 2-game winning run. So with 3 games unbeaten at the beginning of the season, we beat the champions of 2 years ago, Stuttgart, 1-0, Prosek scoring a penalty. And then we beat Wolfsburg 2-0 with Wannsee and Giuseppe Schutta scoring there. He's going to just have to be, isn't he, really? What's that nickname? And then we lost 2-0 to Bayern, which was an unfortunate game. We had our chances to take it. I mean, if we had won, it would have been a robbery. But they beat us 2-0 in the end. The goalkeeper played excellently, 8.9 rating. Very nice. We then beat Leverkusen with Schitter scoring again. And then we had an unfortunate loss against a very poor St. Pauli side. We were better on the day, but they scored a penalty after a mistake from... who was it? He'll have had a terrible rating. I think it was Schitter that gave away the penalty for that one. We then got absolutely battered by Dortmund, but they are very good. They won the league. They didn't win the league last season. That was Bayern, but they've won the league a lot recently. They're very good. And then we got surprisingly beaten 3-0 by Werder Bremen, which was a fairly even game. They just seemed to score all their things and all their shots, and then Chris Dryan got sent off. It's just one of those games you get when you're sort of as good as some of the other teams in the league. Really, so it's a little bit annoying. Now then, what we're going to do is we're going to now play Sandhausen and Saarbrücken. We should be able to beat both these teams because they are down the bottom there, and if we can do that, we can put ourselves in a little bit more healthy position. I've been checking and doing the maths, and over the last couple of seasons, as you can see here, you need to win probably 8 to 10 games to guarantee survival. I feel like we can do that. So let's go try and do that. We're being offered Jon Christensen from Duisburg. He's not good enough, and I don't want to spend 2.1 million on him. Because of the amount of money that we made versus the amount of money we spent over the summer, we've actually put ourselves into a fairly healthy financial situation. unfortunately, this club cannot. Oh, what happened to the Cyprus? Oh, I thought I'd set it up so that we were in the. Bugger! I'm mistaken it. We must have been playing their youth team. Okay, well, you're gonna have to listen to some more chat then. Sorry. What was I going to say? Yeah. Unlike in the Schlansk series where we were able to buy the stadium because they were paying £1 in rent every year. This club is spending something like 1.9 to 2, might even be £3 million in rent every year. So I did try to get them to buy the stadium, but obviously it's the Olympic Stadium, the national stadium of Germany, so it's unlikely we're going to be able to buy the stadium. I then suggested maybe you might want to let us build our own stadium. They said yes, we would agree with that, but we haven't got the money for it. So we need to continue to do what we've been doing in terms of making big turnover, making lots of money and not spending lots of money to bring players in, and hopefully then we can move into our own stadium, which we don't have to spend loads of money to upkeep, or at least just to even be allowed to play in it. So yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? The other cool things are Justice Mbele is now manager of South Africa after having been sacked by Aston Villa for getting them relegated. Roy the Boy Burnell, so a real big flashback for people who used to watch for anyone out there who used to watch read the Western-super-Mare things that I did. Roy the Boy, he was one of our central midfielders during the League 2, League 1 days. Hang on a second, I would say we've got an excellent chance. We've been glad for the rest. Yeah, they should be. Yeah, Hanover should probably beat Bayern pretty easy. So Roy the Boy is now a manager in the lower leagues. He's a top manager. No, he's like what's he called, talented manager, and I think he's manager of Dartford. But yes, he's doing well. Schlansk won the league last season in the original version before the issues with corrupting save files and stuff. They didn't actually win the league, but the second time round, given the reprieve of life, they were able to win the league. This season, however, I don't know if you saw the form of them when someone's name came up, but their form is very poor. They're struggling a little bit, so we'll see. Right, see how that goes. So Keogh's currently injured for fucking ages. Aziz Jr. is out. So is Chris Drying. So we're going to have to do some fiddling. So right, now Salatovic he can only shoot with his right foot, is that right? I'm still learning how these players play. Oh, hello. And Molina can also only play with his right. So let's do this and bring on Wanzi. Ooh, what's happened there? Why would you want to? There we go. We'll leave Shitter. I might give. No, I think I'll leave it like that. Yeah, that's how we're going to have to do it. No, I'm going to bring No, I'm not. So we still have Nakamura from last season. He's one of the few players that survived the cull, and that's only mainly because he's decent and young, and I'm allowing it. So you must also, because that's the way this works. All the German teams seem to play with this, with a defensive midfield and then no. So I don't know where they get their width from. I don't know. They clearly must sort of push out. I've also replaced my old assistant manager with Matty Taylor, because the old assistant manager did not have any tactical knowledge at all. I thought when I put the filters in that I had included that, but what I'd actually done is included tactical training. So he was training them all with the knowledge that he doesn't possess. So he wasn't able to give me any suggestions for the teams last season, so I sacked him at the end of the year and brought in Matty Taylor, who is now able to give us attacking options. Now then, Shitter gives the ball into Jelic. Oh, Jelic doesn't. Oh, but we've got another corner. Torsten Gruber. Gustavo. No. Davis. What are you going to do? Velociraptors. Gustavo crosses. Oh, Mr. Bath. Okay. Shitter up to Davis. Davis now. What are you going to do, fella? Velociraptors. Gustavo. Gustavo goes past his man. No, he doesn't quite, but he gets the ball in. No. Velociraptors. No. Miletic. Come on. Another thing is that because I've had to re-download everything on this computer, including the recording software, I'm not 100% sure that my settings are the same. So if you're experiencing any issues with volume or the quality of the recording of the video, let me know either in the comments or just text me, because the only two people who watch this are able to text me. stay on the pitch. Velociraptors, please. You're our best player. Okay. Oh, and what? Oh, hey, hi there. Who was it? St. Pauli signed. So Sam will remember we scouted a player called Samo Golob, who was at one point hailed as the saviour of the central midfield of Hertha Berlin, but then we decided against signing every single midfielder in the history of the world. So we didn't sign him, and he now plays for St. Pauli, and he nearly scored an absolute worldie for them when they beat us 1-0. So yeah, there we go. Bites you on the arse. The attacking movement of this team is just not quite in this area. We're not quite there yet in terms of working out how to pass the ball to each other and stuff like that, which is a shame, but it will come. Do we have to take another player off? No, that was them. No, is that the player that we sold them? Injured but feels he can shake it off. Okay, no, we want to be nice to them. Things are going well, but I know you're capable of better. Passionate, come on. Passionate, come on. Passionate, come on. And see, look, they're all playing so badly up front. I don't know why. I don't get why it is that suddenly we're playing the same formation as we were last season. So it's not like, I mean, I know none of these players were there last season, but still. Bath up to Schmitz. Engel, Schmitz to Kapatinde, who I think was another player I tried to sign. Karim Kapatinde, or maybe not. Gruber, Velociraptors. Okay, so we might take Velociraptor off. Is that injured? Coman Drame can come on. Salatovic is doing badly. Molina for Salatovic. Oh, this is useless. It's very frustrating when the strikers are they're all technically excellent and not one of them is able to actually score any goals. Murat Çetin. Also, didn't Sandhausen come up with us last season? So we should have... I mean, I don't think we beat them in either of the games we played against them. But considering we've improved our team no end, we should be having the beating of it. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What? Right. Okay, shitter. Crosses, check, Setkov scores, come on, yes. Well done, fella. 1-0, where does that put us? Where does that leave us? 9th. I'll take it, I don't care. So long as we don't get relegated. That's our aim from the board, that's my aim for the season. Keep that money coming in, keep improving the club's finances, and we can slowly build towards a title challenge in a year or two, I hope. I say a year or two, I mean like 2 years at least, because I don't think we'll be challenging next year for the title unless... quality. Go on. Oh, just tap the fucking thing in. All right. So so they're actually playing better together than the other lot were. Let's bring on Patricia Cruz for Gustavo. He's getting a bit tired. Oh, hello. Jelic, Drame, Jelic. Back to El Amrani. Miletic. Go on then. Wanzi, Gustavo. Drame. Great ball. Wanzi. Yes, Wanzi scores. There we go. Come on. That's what we want to see. We're coasting to victory now in front of the home fans. Every time I've watched this, been in this ground to watch Hertha play... Oh, no, that's not true. I have sat here once and they lost. And I've sat up here a number of times and they have had mixed results. I remember watching them play against Hoffenheim and they lost... No, they won 1-0 and they never had a shot on target. And I don't think there was a shot on target in the entire game. It was awful. And it was freezing cold and snowing. And it was just a miserable day. Had by all, I think, except for the Hertha. Oh, Ivo Engel. Yeah, just a sad day had by all, really. Okay, Davies. Shitter. Davies. Big ball up to Wanzi. Prosek wins the ball back. Molina now, come on. Use your ridiculous finishing. There we go. Molina scores. First ever goal for the club. That's what we want. 3-0. This kind of win. That's where we are. We're bringing that goal back up. Come on. Come on. And we're up to 9th still. Good. So we're ahead of Köln. And now we have to play who? Saarbrücken next. So, okay. And they're going up in the table because we're beating Sandhausen, I think. So let's do it. This would be good. If we can get 2 wins here, just to really sort of calm the nerves down after the after the third loss on the bounce, that last game that we lost against Werder Bremen, I was asked to call a team meeting where the team were like, "Oh yeah, we are pretty rubbish, aren't we?" Oh god, because they're all from Birmingham, as I'm sure are aware. So yeah, that's clearly made a difference here because they're. Oh, it's Gutler! Yay! He used to play for us. Mug. Made the wrong decision, didn't you? He's a very good player, actually. I wanted to keep him. But we just had no money at all when we were trying to sign players before I was able to actually sell anyone on. Kruth at the back post. Side netting. Just cross the ball, man. Or shoot at the goal if you're going to shoot. Gruber. Jelic. Mr. Schroeder being held up. Ailton. Drame tackles. What's he going to do? Are we going to be able to get a fourth on the break? Drame? Nope. But we got a vital win. That's very, very good. That's a third win of the season. Well done, lads. The morale's gone up again. We're all at superb now. We scored 3 of our 4 shots on target. It was much more even than it seemed to be from the replays. But good. That's another win for us. We're on 13 points already. We need to get to about 30. Okay, so Kyohei Nakamura has been called up. Nathan Dyer has been sacked by Brighton. We smashed Sandhausen. That's very nice to see. They're doing badly. I thought we played very well. It was a great moment for him. He did. Yeah, I'd love if they stuck with him because they were crap. Oh, knees. Yeah, I've damaged my knee in a bad way. Okay, so we are playing Saarbrücken next, who drew 1-1 with Nuremberg, who beat someone 5-0 not very long ago, so that's not a bad result for Saarbrücken. We are comfortably mid-table, and I think that's probably where we'll end the season if we play to our sort of strengths. So we'll play Saarbrücken just to make this an absolutely proper bumper episode, considering we haven't actually recorded one for freaking ages. And yeah, that'll be fun. And then we'll move on again, and I'll try and record again straight away afterwards, or at least a little time afterwards, so that we don't end up with another backlog of, well, no, not a backlog, but just having a poor record. Also, Union Berlin having an absolutely shocking season this season. Last season they ended up finishing 6th, and I don't know what's happened, but they're clearly going backwards because they're now 16th. And I had wanted to be manager of Union more than I'd wanted to be manager of. Wow, well done HSV. By an absolutely useless game, but Fatih Demir scoring 2 for them. It's not a bad play. He scored 4. I mean, he's playing ridiculously well for them. I don't know what they've got him doing, what they've got him on, but fine. For them, I'm sure they're happy with it. Who's this Diogo fella? He's all right. He's not eccentric at all, which is beautiful. Speaking of which, I'll very quickly do this, although I didn't want to. I hadn't planned to. But they've signed basically no one in the last... Look at all the players they're selling. They got rid of Grzegorz Lewandowski for £100,000 to Cracovia. I signed him for 500,000, you mugs. Who else did they get rid of? Anyone else we actually know? Their goalkeeper, he's gone. Andre Souza, he left. Scalato, I think, is the player I signed. Pavel Urban, Andre Glazkov. They just sold all of my... Like that Helder Baylor guy as well is a shame because he was supposed to be very good when I signed him. He had a lot of potential, and they've signed one player. So over the last 2 seasons, so it's just me putting some gel on my knee. For the last 2 seasons, they've signed 4 players and sold like... Where did that... Like, they've got £43 million in the bank. Most of it coming from... What was his name? Where is he? I can't see him. Aziz Ababi. Who, by the way, I mean, he played a fucking ridiculous season for them. He played even better for them than he did for us. Oh, man. So yeah, he's clearly taken to the Premier League like a duck to water. But yeah, what happened to the 28 million or 30 odd million that they got given for him? 21 million. What happened to that? Where was the reinvestment, mate? Where was the reinvestment? Are they just going to roll backwards and suddenly become a mid-table rubbish team again, like they used to be? Like they're just going to have had 10 years of wicked play from me, and then nothing. Wicked play. Thanks, Matty Taylor. You think he should be a key player? Well, I disagree. You can't drop the goalkeeper for poor form because he's been in good form. Velociraptors I sort of agree with. He's not been playing great in the last couple of games. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the forwards that we ended up with in the last game. and maybe bring on Drame as well, to try and see if we can take the game to Saarbrücken a bit earlier, because I think all of our wins have come from goals scored in the second half this season. So I'm hoping that we can end that stupid run. Singing. Ivanov. Nope, I don't want him. Jensen is confident of a move away from Slavsk. Like, what is wrong with them? He's a centre back anyway. Of course, fucking stupid. They trying to sell all their players. They're having arguments with everybody. It's a club in disarray. They should have signed a better manager after me instead of that muggy Croatian fellow who barely won in the league with by far the best squad in Poland. Stupid. Saarbrücken. Oh my God, there's going to be 5,000 people at the top division ground. Their manager is called Patrick Lewandowski. Dortmund, Kotsiopolis. I mean, yeah. So I mean, they've got a better team than us. Just FYI, in case you didn't know. Yeah, and it's ridiculous. These three teams, but we've also played. We've also been smashed by. Oh no, who was it? It was Werder. Yeah, so it was a bit of a disappointment on that one. Haven't been beaten by anyone else from the lower leagues, except the lower part of the league, except for San Pauli, and that was a freak result. I don't think if we played for that game more than once, we would lose it that way. So at the same time, you think he should be dropped, but his progress is excellent. So yeah, good one. Thanks, Matty. I'm not sure I fully take up your. All right, so we're gonna do this because he played well. Wanzi and Molina instead of Salatovic. Yep. Okay, that sounds good to me. Does it? Yeah, I think it does. I think that does. Go on then. Let's do this then. Oh my God, let's not do it too slowly. And they're playing it again. Yeah, they've got Gruber up front. All right. So we're away from home where we have been so poor. Let's try and get a win. I don't think we've actually Ludwig Park Stadion. I'm not sure. I just want to check, see if we've actually won a game away from home yet. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, okay, I can. Fixtures. Have we won a game away? No. Oh no, we did. We won away at Stuttgart. Okay. Who were a very good team as well, so it's not like we. Right. No, there was no change. So we're playing in our nice red away kit. We've lost the ball 9 seconds after the kickoff. Paula in goal. Kruse, Karlsson, Svetkov, Prosek, Schitter, Davies, Svetkov. Another slight concern is that a lot of the goals, I know in the last game we did actually score 2 from open play, but there was 1 from the corner, and a lot of our goals so far have come from corners or set pieces. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it would be nice if our strikers could start to sort of play football. Ooh, that was a bit of a. I don't know if you saw that, but that wasn't the recording. That was the game just jumping about. It scared me for a second. Werner, Carlsen, Werner shoots over. Very small goals in Saarbrücken, but I suppose if you've only got 5,000 people, you don't need a big goal to see. We are not doing very well. Andreas Wilhelm, 3 minutes in. They've had all the chances, but it is 3 minutes in, so maybe let's not have a big old bitch fit. Come on. Stand up to him. There we go. Right. Shitter. Crosses, but it's gone out for a corner. This is a big one. If you're still with me, Sam or Josh, welcome. Oh, Jelic. Come on. Could have done better than that. Gustavo. Oh, Wanzi. Oh, it's gone in. It's an own goal. Yeah, Philip has scored an own goal. Ha ha! Puns. I've got them. Come on, Hertha BSC. Bachelor of Science. Ugh. Wanzi. Oh, Haas. In off his arse. Haas's arse. And we're 1-0 up. Could we get a second win on the bounce to put us on 16 points? Let's hope we can carry this. No. Good save. Reinhard. Don't know why you left him there. Could have. No. Yes. No. interesting bit of pinball. One of the goals we conceded against Werder was like centre back passes to Amrani, he passes to him, and he gets tackled, and the ball goes in from the tackle. It was ridiculous. So that's why I was saying that result was particularly sort of galling. It wasn't like they didn't deserve to win, but like a couple of the goals were so avoidable. Oh, I'm getting called. Hang on.